In a small village, nestled amongst the rolling hills of the savannah, lived a man named Kofi. His laughter once echoed like the drums of a festival, but that was before the day the sun seemed to fall from the sky. On that day, his beloved wife, Adama, brought their daughter into the world, a beautiful girl they named Amara, meaning grace. But in giving life, Adama gave her own. Kofi's world shattered. He was left with a tiny, wailing life in his arms and a void in his heart as vast as the desert. He promised Adama, he promised the ancestors, that he would protect their daughter with every fiber of his being. But life, it seemed, had other plans. Raising Amara alone was a daily battle. His small farm yielded less and less each season. The rains came late, and the sun was merciless. There were days they had only a handful of cassava to share, Kofi chewing his portion slowly, making sure Amara ate her fill, his own stomach twisting in hunger. As Amara grew, so did the challenges. She was a bright, joyful child, her smile a rare flower in their barren life. But a shadow clung to her. She was often tired, her small body racked with pains that made Kofi's heart ache. The village healer spoke of a sickness in her blood, a curse of the sickle cell that twisted and broke her from the inside. The whispers of the villagers followed them like flies, some pitying, others scornful. He is cursed, they would say, first the wife, now the child. Kofi ignored them. He worked harder, his hands becoming calloused and his back permanently stooped. He took on any work he could find, mending fences, carrying water. His pride swallowed by the desperate need to provide for his daughter. Each coin he earned went towards the herbs and remedies the healer prescribed, but they offered only fleeting relief. The sickness was a relentless tide, always pulling Amara back into its painful grip. One day, Amara collapsed while playing. Her fever raged, her breaths came in shallow gasps. Panic seized Kofi. The healer shook his head. The city hospital is her only chance, but the cost, it is a mountain you cannot climb. Kofi, a mountain. Kofi looked at his daughter, her life hanging by a thread, and decided he would move that mountain or die trying. He sold his small plot of land, the only legacy from his father. He sold his goats, his tools, everything of value he owned. He went to the village elder, his knees hitting the dust as he begged for a loan. He went to traders he barely knew, promising to work for them for a lifetime if they would just help him now. The shame was a bitter pill, but the fear of losing Amara was a poison that would kill him faster. With a small pouch of borrowed money, he carried Amara on his back for 2 days, walking tirelessly towards the distant city. The city was a bewildering maze of noise and haste. The hospital was a sterile, white giant that consumed his money with terrifying speed. Doctors spoke in words he didn't understand, of treatments and surgeries that cost more than he had ever seen in his life. The money ran out. His hope began to curdle into despair. They lived on the streets, begging for scraps. Kofi's spirit, once as strong as a baobab tree, began to splinter. He watched his daughter fade, the light in her eyes dimming with each passing day. He saw his reflection in a puddle and didn't recognize the gaunt, haunted man staring back. The weight of his failure was crushing. He had promised to protect her, and he had failed. On the morning of her 16th birthday, Amara's breathing grew faint. She opened her eyes, looked at her father, and managed a weak smile. "Papa," she whispered, her voice a dry rustle of leaves, "don't be sad. You did everything. I am going to see Mama now." A single tear traced a path down Kofi's dusty cheek. He held her close, humming the lullaby he used to sing to her as a baby, his voice cracking with unshed tears. As the sun rose over the city, she took her last breath in his arms. Kofi's world went silent. The city noise, the people, everything faded into a muted blur. He had lost everything. His wife, his child, his land, his dignity. The thought of joining them, of ending his own unbearable pain, was a seductive whisper in his mind. He walked to the edge of a high bridge, the water below calling to him. But then he heard her whisper again, "Don't be sad, Papa." He looked at his empty hands, the hands that had held her, worked for her, fought for her. He couldn't erase the last piece of her, the love that still lived within his broken heart. He had lost the battle, but her memory, her grace, would be the reason he would endure the dawn. He turned away from the edge, a man with nothing left but a story to tell, a story of a love that fought against the world and lost. Thank you for listening to this story with us. If you were moved, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tales that touch the heart. Take care of yourselves and those you love.